right, it's Don Chowder Bauder's turn this time. I caught up with him today at a picnic. So, how have you been?
I've been good. Been good.
Keeping
Retired
busy?
now from work. Don't work anymore, so
That's good. Keeping yourself busy?
basically here at the race shop, working on all the cars, and I like my hobby kind of deal. But
So, for those that might not know what you drove at Dorney Park, what was your car number and what division did you drive in?
I ran in the sportsman division, and I ran number 70 like my whole career.
Is there any special meaning to that number?
Well, back in the day at Dorney, I won at 72 because I graduated in 72. But Gary Wentz had it, and I also wanted a number that I didn't have to change my door to run at Dorney and Evergreen. You know what I mean? That for a different number. And here, Georgie Greenswig was running 70 late model. And at the time, it was like a courtesy that if you ran like late model and you wanted to move up, you took your number with you. It was like a gentleman's agreement. And I went over and talked to him, and I said, "Hey George, are you interested in moving up to the sportsman?" He said, "No." I said, I'm happy here in the late models. I said, "Well, I'd like to use your number. He goes, yeah, it's fine. Go ahead, use it. Then like last year was kind of ironic because I have the 70 hobby stock that I drive for Womble Motorsports, and I'm 70 inches tall. I'm 70 inches old. 70 years old, and what's the other one? 70. There's three 70s. Let me think. I forget the third one now, of course, when I need it.
That's a lot of 70s.
Yeah. But so I thought it was kind of. Oh, and that I drove the 70 hobby stock. There was three of them. I thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah, that is nice. What was your first car that you drove? What model?
It was a Sportsman. Unfortunately, I should have started off in a lesser class. You know what I mean? To go right to the top class at Dorney Park, it was a little bit intimidating. But the older guys, they were more than willing to help you. I had like maybe 5 mentors down there, like George, and Bartholomew, Marvin Bartholomew. Eddie Hunsberger was a big help to me. And they could see you had the desire, I guess, but you go there, you don't have no idea what you're doing. So, and you're going to show the whole world that you can race better than them, and that's like a rude awakening because that's not happening.
Yeah.
But it was still goes all the way back to like when I was a kid, about maybe 12 or something. My grandpa bought me a go-kart, and it was a dirt go-kart. And my buddy, his dad bought him an asphalt go-kart, except his was a racing go-kart, mine was just a kid's go-kart. And but he had the racing asphalt tires on, and I had the knobby tires on. So him and I, we built a track. We used to kind of borrow his dad's lawnmower. And we found this old bed spring, we hooked it onto the tractor, towed it around, put rocks on there and logs and anything we could find laying around. Made a little track, just a little tiny thing. And we had so much fun because he would go flying down the straightaways, but he couldn't get through the corner. And I had the knobby tires, I could go through the corner, but no power to go down a straightaway. And we'd do that over and over and over. We had so much fun, it was like, you couldn't wait for the weekend to get up to my grandpa's house to carry on like that, but it was fun.
What was driving, you race at Mahoning now, what was it like compared to Dorney Park? Can you compare the two?
Well, it was quite different. Like at Dorney, you run real hard down a straightaway, real hard in the brake to get into the corner. And up at Mahoney, it's, you're more or less on the gas all the time. It's like momentum track. And I think that was probably my hardest part of adapting to Mahoney. I used to drive with one hand, hold my hand on my knee, like don't lift. And you go in the corner and you scare yourself. But after a while, you get going faster and faster and faster, and you forget about getting real hard on the brake like you did at Dorney.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a rude awakening as far as the two different tracks. But I remember the one guy up there, Jay Ayton, he was one of the instrumental people and telling me, don't lift. Just ease out of the throttle if you have to, but don't lift. What?
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy, but now you try to tell people that and they look at you like, yeah, right, what do you want me to crash or what? It's, like they don't want to listen, but it's you got to listen to the people with the experience,
How many wins do you have?
I have 6, 3 at Dorney and 3 at Mahoney Valley, all in the sportsman class.
Any championships?
No, no championship. The other year we won the Rookie of the Year for Mahoney for the hobby stocks. That was kind of cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were upset, but you know, I never drove a front wheel drive car, so I was kind of in the same boat. Plus, I was off for 20 years or something.
It's like starting over.
Yeah, right.
And it's totally different.
So it was that was another thing that I kind of admired, you know, with being here with Wombles and them. That we were, you know, when I had my own cars and we were racing, I never could race the whole season. You know, I never had the money to do it properly, and you know, you're scrimping and scraping, trying to get every penny together just to be there. And like Johnny Markovic and Russ France, they used to go to their shops and they had like a mountain of tires. He said, "Hey, go take anything you want." Oh, okay. Then I always made a joke that if it had at least one letter on the side, it was like brand new to me, you know,
Yeah.
the name of the tire. So I was kind of treated that like a little joke, you know. Or like you'll see the guys now that check the wear holes, like in the modified tires. And I'd have like one hole out at the end of the tire. Oh man, this thing's like brand new, you know. You know, and just kind of have fun with it.
Do you have a favorite memory of Dorney Park at all?
I would say winning our first feature out there, because it was like 11 restarts, and through the 3 wins we ended up beating George, beating Freddie Ham, beating Paul Bauscher, and it was like,
That's a lot of
holy
good
smoke,
ones to
you're
beat.
beating them guys, you're running, you know, you're doing something right. That was through the whole time I was there. But so that was like a major accomplishment for me, just to run with those guys, much less to actually beat them. George loaned me an engine one time, and I beat him with his own engine. And I said, "Well, I guess you want your engine back?" No, keep it till you get yours going. I mean, I
Nice
was like
guy.
kind of in shock because he's like the leading feature winner here, the top dog, and he gives me one of his competitive engines. I mean, it wasn't like a clunker engine just to get you going. It was, you know, a top-notch engine, and we always joked about that. You know, years after that when. We went. I think he had a 70th birthday surprise party down here in Bath, and I started talking about that, and it was, you know, people were in the audience there. They were like, "Holy smokes!" You know, that's pretty neat. You know.
Yeah, Rick and Bobby Jones have a story similar to that.
Yep.
Bobby needed an engine, and Rick lent him one of those. So
Yep.
same kind
There
of
you
thing.
go. Perfect.
If you had advice to give to young kids starting out now, maybe in quarter midgets or some other type of racing, what advice would you give them?
Right now I'm helping Colton Muldowney. He runs in, I guess he's about 6 years old now. He runs at Schnecksville and Blue Mountain. He runs up there and wherever, you know, they run different tracks. And so I've been kind of tinkering around there. I mean, I don't know anything about those kind of cars, but like, you know, changing tires and the basic stuff, I can help in the pits do that, you know. And I was helping his dad with the Speedster, and he was running the 600 at Schellheimer's for a while. I helped him a little bit out there with those cars. That was kind of neat, but
Yeah.
I'd say one of the biggest memories of mine from Dorney Park was I used to help Henry Kemmer in the pits on a late model, and then I started helping Peeps like once a week. You know what I mean? We'd go up to his shop and I'd do all the welding and burning on our car, and he would say, "Hey, can you weld this up?" Hey, you know, work on his car. And then I went to the Sportsman then and got away from the late model stuff. And I think that was like one of my biggest thrills, because I've always been a motorhead ever since I was a little kid. I even had a slick on my bicycle when I was little.
Yeah.
But you know, to go there and have that the experience that Peeps had and the crazy ideas he'd come up with, it's like, oh my God, okay. But one thing I often admired, and a lot of people don't do it for crew members, is when I would do something on the car, the next thing I would say, well, what are we trying to gain out of this? What are we looking for the car to do, you know? And he would explain it to me and explain it. And like the third time, he said, "You still don't know what I'm talking about, do you?" And I'm like, you know, then he would get a piece of chalk on the floor in the garage and he'd start drawing the track and, you know, where to enter and where to go through and what the angles of the radius rods would do, and, you know, really explain stuff. And then when I got to buy the car, I mean, it was not near like a veteran's knowledge, but I had a lot of knowledge of what, you know, to adjust on the car and what to expect out of it. So it was pretty cool, I thought. you know. But to tell the little kids, I would say the biggest thing is get your hands involved. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, not just little kids, they just want to, have everything given to you, and it's like you don't learn anything like that, you know? If you're in there and you're, working on your own equipment and this and that and changing stuff and, trying to make it better, and then I think you learn more that way than if, somebody just hands you a big dollar car and says, here, go drive it. It's like, I remember at Mahoney one time when they had the DA dirt cars up there.
Yep, I remember.
This young kid, I don't remember who it was, but I'd say he was about 14 or something. He went out and he just thoroughly wrecked his car. The whole right front, all the way back, the engine, the headers, everything was a mess. And it was like a 90-degree day. This is at Mahoney. And my son was with me. And we go over to see if we can help this guy or whatever, get loaded. And the kid is standing there, he got his arms crossed, and he's looking at his dad. Dad's sweating like crazy. And he wouldn't even help him, I'm thinking. I said to my kid, I said, you ever get to drive my car and you wreck it and don't help me, that'll be the last time you ever drive it. And he turned out to be excellent in the pits. I mean, my son, he's always been a good mechanic.
Yeah.
But that kid just would not help. I mean, he could, hand the guy a rag or something, do something. The guy's killing himself trying to get this thing on the trailer, and he just would not help. Like he was some kind of superstar or something that, he didn't want to be bothered with getting dirty or whatever. So that part kind of irks me a little bit. But generally speaking, everybody will, work on their own stuff.
Did you ever get in a fight at Dorney Park? I've been dying to ask that question to someone.
One guy, and God bless him, he's gone now. He always had a bad habit of, as soon as we got to the checkered flag, he would stop racing. He would just stop racing at the checkered flag. Well, you got the whole field behind you. So what happened, we get to the checkered flag, he stops, I'm on the inside, he's like in the middle to the outside, and the guy behind him runs into this guy. Holy smokes. Well, we go through the first, second turn. Well, that's like the wind down. You're supposed to race into the first and second turn, so you don't get clouded. And we go down the back stretch, go around for the cool down lap, and I thought, that's freaking so-and-so. I'm going to have a chat with him. Well, seatbelts are pretty strong. I went in there and I tried to pull him out of his car with his seatbelts on.
Oh, well, that didn't work.
It kind of maybe stretched his neck a little bit. I don't remember quite exactly, but then another time it was racing banquet night, and this other guy and my girlfriend at the time, they were sort of family, and they got in a big argument. Well, he says, I'll knock your head off, not that politely, but and he goes to hit her, so I had to cuff him, He goes flying backwards. Well, somewhere in the melee, I had like a white sweater on. I got all full of blood in front of me, not from me, but from him. And so my girlfriend and I, we were going to go out after the race. Well, we go to this club that I belong to, and everybody's like, "What happened to you? Your sweater's all bloody." And I didn't even realize it. You just want to get in there. And I always thought that was kind of comical, that but I never got into that freaking fighting and carrying on. It's so ridiculous, one good punch you can kill somebody over a freaking race that you're racing for $100 or whatever they paid at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. And generally, the crews shouldn't even have no business intercepting or interrupting with the fight. I'd say any average driver, from a little bit beyond beginner, can tell when you're getting worked over or if it was a racing accident. And even if you are getting worked over, a little bit, the average driver on up would say, well, I owed this guy, or I tried to spin him out, and now he's just bumping me or whatever. And I always kind of preferred when somebody touched my car in the back, so I knew where they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now they have radios, and who knows what they're doing, but kind of crazy nowadays. Too much electronics involved nowadays.
Yep.
Too easy to communicate with your driver.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll let you get back to the picnic.
Oh, well,
it was
that was
nice
fun.
to chat with you.
Yeah.
Sure everyone will.
Yeah, I hope you learned a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
But I had a laugh too when I first brought the Clammobile out. Everybody's like, what in the